Hello and welcome to the Unknown Comics Podcast, episode 8. I was gone last week, so I'm totally off now.
I think it's 9.
This is 9.
I love how I ask this question every time because the minute that we start rolling,
We should probably put that in a little thing from now on.
exactly at the very top of our little notes.
Or we just make it a bit about trying to remember which episode we're
Yeah.
on.
It just be
It's going to get really hard.
it can just be a running gag.
Like, no, this is episode 70. Well, I thought it was 12.
Hope everybody had a good week. We had a very cold week.
Yeah, still
or
cold.
we're having a very cold week. So
Cold, snow, ice. It's fun.
yeah, which is not super uncommon for West Texas.
Yeah, we're more used to it than the rest of Texas. is.
And luckily we're not on the power grid with the rest of the state too. So
Yeah. I'd say overall, I mean, I lost power at my house for longer than I wanted to, but
yeah,
I think most of our area actually has been okay.
So we've done okay. Sorry, DFW in Houston.
Yeah.
I was on vacation last week. Very needed vacation. I went to Denver and went where it was colder because I'm a genius and ate food,
Well, I mean,
drank some beer, had a
it's
good
not
time.
like you knew the North Pole was going to just,
we
try
knew.
to become the South
We
Pole.
did know it was coming, but we really just wanted to hit those breweries. There's.
I mean, alcohol makes you warm, right?
It
at
can
least in the face.
It gives you the feeling that you're warmer even when you're really not. But being on vacation, I did not forget to watch WandaVision because that is. We were driving in the car to Greeley, which is north of Denver, and I put my AirPods in, told everybody shut up, or I'm not talking to you for the next 30 to 35 minutes, and got all caught up on
I did
WandaVision.
see something today about, Marvel's going to start doing these behind the scenes kind of series for every TV show.
Okay.
So with them announcing that, every Friday right now planned out, every Friday for the rest of the year, there'll be something Marvel.
Okay.
Whether it be a movie, one of those TV series, one of the TV series they already have coming out, with the What If, Loki, Miss Marvel, Hawkeye, all that's supposed to come out this year. And then at the end of each one of those, there'll be a kind of the making of.
The kind
comes out
of
after.
like a special DVD special feature type.
So
Type
every
comic.
Friday, and then the movies are tied into that too. So like Shang-Chi,
Yeah.
Black Widow,
Eternals and all that.
Eternals, everything has. So every Friday for the rest of the year, we'll have, except for December 31st,
Right.
there'll be something Marvel.
Does Falcon and Winter Soldier have a date?
March 18th, I think.
Okay, so WandaVision's going to end
There'll be a week in between.
a week in between the end of
then
WandaVision
and then I think Falcon Winter Soldier 6 episodes, and then there'll be a week in between that and Black Widow currently, and then Loki should start 2 weeks after that. Loki starts, and that'll
Okay.
go until July, I think.
So it's just bam, bam,
And
bam,
then
bam.
Shang-Chi, and then a couple weeks after that, it's supposed to be Miss Marvel. Then that'll go until I think Eternals, and then after that's supposed to be Hawkeye.
I think that's a great plan.
Hopefully it sticks. I think the Disney Plus stuff will stick. That's
Yeah.
the movies we'll have to see.
Yeah.
They're still refusing to release Black Widow on.
I think
Plus.
Warner Brothers is starting to do their movies and actually release stuff. Now, it also is getting launched on HBO Max.
Yeah.
But I think March 5th, those movies that they have there are holding right now.
Yeah.
Like the Raya movie for Disney, and then there's another movie that's kind of bigger, an action movie coming out March 5th also.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's only a couple weeks away, and those movies are holding. They haven't announced that they're moving out, so
Yeah.
I think they're starting to say, we're just going to stick to it and start letting, because if nobody starts doing it, it's not going to start happening.
Right.
Yeah.
So they kind of have to eventually just let the movie theaters.
Well, and there's
do the
people
thing.
that'll go see it. I mean, Florida's open.
Yeah.
People in Florida are go
It's
watch
really
the movies.
It's really just California. That's really, I think, the only state you can't really go watch a movie in.
Right.
Because they have such harsh, shutdown stuff.
Yeah. Lockdown stuff.
So,
yeah.
and I think some of that even may be opening. We have some friends in California, and they were so excited that they got to eat inside of a restaurant for the first time in how many ever months it's been.
Yeah.
So some of that may be laxing. I know some of the counties are kind of more lax than other counties. So
Yeah. But
so WandaVision.
WandaVision.
Sorry, I just thought that was kind of cool to hear that.
No,
so.
it's cool that they're going to have this constant drip, right, of content, because we wondered that. We knew going into lockdown and everything, we were going to have a good influx of content because stuff had already been made, produced, or whatever.
Yeah.
But then
then it wasn't coming out.
we were dreading this dead spot where nothing was going to happen because nothing got made. And
For Marvel, they were worried because it all ties with their movies.
yeah,
So if the movies
Right,
aren't coming
well-
out, well, except for Black Widow because it's supposed to be a prequel, but
yeah,
everything else,
Well, and all the movies tie together too. So if you set one back,
Yeah.
you set your entire production line back.
yeah. So it's neat to see that they've kind of got a plan in place and that we're not going to go through Marvel Cinematic Universe dry spells. Can't speak to
yeah,
words.
I think that everybody was like, everybody was sad because 2020 they got nothing. Well, 2021 they got you covered.
Yeah.
it's coming.
Yeah.
It did make me think though, like, because that is a release date for Marvel, is I think Christmas Day for sure is on a Friday, so I guess that also means the Star Wars stuff's going to be. So you have a lot of stuff to watch on Fridays
Yeah.
because the new, whether it be Boba Fett or Mandalorian, comes out Christmas Day this year.
Right.
So we'll see, but that may be like they overlap that one time, and then it might be a little bit of Star Wars stuff before the next Marvel thing. We'll see how they
Right.
kick that in,
Yeah.
or if they decide to eventually go a different day on one of them.
I think they should go a different day on one of them just to
Stagger them out a little
stagger
bit.
them a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. I don't know. Either way, I'm okay. I mean, they're only like 35, 40 minutes. I can handle 2 hours of TV.
Right. Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, it's not like a feature-length movie dropping every week. So WandaVision this week, we moved to the late 90s, early 2000s sitcom style, kind of the Disney Channel, Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah,
kind of.
You start off with the kids having their own asides and talking
Yeah.
to the camera, and
Yeah, very, very much like those Disney Channel shows and everything like that. Malcolm in the Middle, kind of harken to that one a little bit.
Yeah.
So kind of fun to see that. And so
we
now,
see Pietro the entire episode.
yeah, Uncle Pietro's back, and you can tell Wanda's still very confused about his presence. So
That's interesting.
it leads to believe
Well,
that she did not consciously
Bring him.
bring him,
And he, like
whether she did it unconsciously or somebody else.
And
he kind of pulls a Deadpool and knows the whole sitcom thing is going on.
yeah. Well, not only that, but like his memories, it still feels like he has X-Men memories, but he also knows MCU memories because she's trying to figure out
They both remembered something differently.
yeah, she's trying to say, look, he's like, oh, our parents would love this, and then she'll, kind of question on what he actually remembers, and then he kind of changes the subject, so it's kind of like,
Well, he called her out. He's like, you were
Well,
testing
that
me,
too,
you know. When she was trying to throw him a curveball trick question.
but then he didn't actually answer the question.
I think
So I mean, that's
so. What Fox reference were you?
well, just in general, it just feels like his memories may not be the exact same as because every time she tries to question his memory, he changes the subject.
Okay,
He's not actually going back to something that they were talking about.
Right.
So it's not really that he's talking about Fox, but it doesn't mean that he's actually the exact same as her other brother as far
Okay.
as memories go. So, I mean, they haven't ruled out the point that he's not completely
Right.
Fox Quicksilver.
somebody posted a meme today, and it was new Charles Xavier, young Charles Xavier actor.
Oh, James McAvoy?
James McAvoy as Xavier from Dark Phoenix. Like his caption was, "I can't read her thoughts. How is she doing this?" And it cuts to him as Quicksilver. How are you doing this?
Yeah. Oh, he's in Quicksilver's brain. Yeah.
like he's controlling him or whatever. I definitely, I think he's an outsider. I don't think she's actually brought him there. I think it could be because
So
it alludes to Sword kind of had an ulterior motive. So Sword alluded to that they had an agent before they sent the beekeeper in, that they had already lost one agent, and they hadn't heard back from one of the agents. I'm wondering if whoever is kind of taking the guise of Quicksilver is that agent.
So I saw a theory today that Hayward, is that the name of
the
yeah,
main guy,
The sword
yeah.
director, yeah.
so that he is also from the Fox universe because of the scene where he is like, so she has no like special name like all the others Avengers, and they're like, no, she's always just been known as Wanda in this universe, but in the Fox universe she was named Scarlet Witch, and it's like
She's never been in the.
Yeah,
Fox.
she's never really been in it. I mean, it shows her,
It,
but
or
she's
it
never had a
alludes to her.
place.
Yeah.
well, but the point is that he possibly comes from this universe where she
was
has a
named.
name.
She would have had a quick.
He probably knows how dangerous she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
There's talks now that I saw something where the snap created the last snap created a bad version of Iron Man, and we're going to see him maybe in the MCU at some point. So, I mean, there's all these different talks. Like, if it can bring this in, what else did it do?
Right.
You know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So-
you open up multiverse, the sky's the limit for what you can bring in. So Vision's getting wise to everything. He's out doing his
He's investigating.
He's out investigating, right?
Yeah.
Under the guise of being part of the Watch or whatever. And so he starts seeing,
everybody
bugging out, and where she's not rendering the movie, right?
Another theory I saw is that both Wanda and Vision are subconsciously, at least the way it started, taking over the town together. Because the barrier was, all of Wanda's powers are shown as manifesting as red.
Yeah.
But the barrier was blue at the beginning of the show until she changed it red.
Okay. Yeah.
So that maybe so some other force other than her is doing something there.
Well, and she
also.
honestly said that she has no idea how she did it.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know how it happened.
Yeah, it alluded to in the
She
previous
knows she's
episode.
doing it,
Yeah.
but she doesn't know how she's doing it.
Right.
You know?
Which
and at
and
this
that's
point, she still has control. 'cause
and that's
she's
why she probably
expanding
thinks she did manifest Pietro.
it. Yeah.
Right? She's just like, well, other stuff's happened. I just didn't intend for this to
I
happen.
didn't mean to sneeze you into existence.
Right.
Sorry.
Or the kids. She doesn't have control of the kids aging themselves
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Although she did create them.
Yeah. Well, so her agency in all of this is different, right? She can't control
Vision.
what Vision's doing. She can't control the kid. So she can create, but necessarily can't control everything.
Now, I also think it's interesting if Vision is really dead, then why did we see? And Vision's not. I mean, if we saw Vision dead and we saw Pietro dead,
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of, and they still have their own free will, and she's questioning all this. Like that kind of brings in more questions there.
Unless, I've gone back to this theory that they are just manifestations of different parts of her personality.
That's what I
things
originally
she's
thought.
wrestling with.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, we saw her physically take Vision's body,
yeah,
so we know she actually has him.
that she has, of course, but that what's puppeteering him is still her, but they're just different parts of her that she's having this kind of interior war.
Yeah.
With everything, and the kids could be that as well as
The big question I had for the slow spot was why was Agatha or whatever? Why was she in the slow zone?
How did she,
I think she was trying to escape.
I think so too,
Yeah.
right? Because you heard her say, "Don't go past Ellis Street" or something like that.
Yeah.
And you look up and you see
Which-
Vision's like right next to that
trivia
corner.
nugget? What is important about Ellis? Do y'all know MCU wise?
I don't know.
He was the president in like all of the
Oh,
Oh, okay.
MCU movies.
yeah.
There you go.
But I think when Vision put her broke her personality out and then put her back, it rebooted her so that she was able to
Go ahead
drive
and
back.
go. Yeah, because she was like, no one ever leaves. So it almost seemed like she was trying to get out. And I guess once you get to that, maybe that's why they're going so slow, is because she doesn't want them to get out.
Yeah.
Maybe the further away they go, she wants to slow it down so
I think
it would take them forever to get out of the boundary.
I think it's that she has control over them, but she can
Do so much.
can do so much, so they're just on standby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think her bandwidth is very limited, and that's why the people on the outskirts are just
I'm interested
frozen.
to see what's going to happen to Darcy now that she's in there.
yeah
Because it didn't show what she turned into.
No.
Showed everybody else turning into clown,
Well,
and
and-
circus, and
yeah, and
all
probably
that
what's
jazz.
going to happen is we're going to see her, but we're not going to know it's her,
Yeah.
right, for a little bit. So we're going to be speculating. Could that have been her? Well, I guess they don't really change their appearance.
yeah.
So-
I mean, the clowns had makeup and stuff on, but I mean, we would probably still recognize her.
Yeah. So the hex grew. We don't know how big. We don't know if it caught.
We don't know if it's just still growing.
Yeah, or if it's still growing. If it caught Hayward. If it caught Rambo. And
So who do we think is going to be the person Rambo's going to have? We're going to see in this next episode. It sounds like,
oh, the aerospace engineer.
unless they give us a filler episode, which is that's always.
I
great.
mean,
a lot of people saying we're going to see Reed Richards.
Reed Richards. Yeah. I'm trying to think other kind of aerospace engineers that
Do we see Banner?
he's not.
He's not. He doesn't have that. But I mean,
Yeah, he's a physicist more than anything.
So we know it's an aerospace engineer.
She's called
That's
him.
what
her,
she's called him.
Her
Okay.
aerospace engineer friend was going to build the little coffin that was going to send her back in.
Big roadie. I don't know if he's got that degree or something like that now.
because I don't remember what exactly she was, but
Tony Stark would probably actually be the best person to build
what do
something
you
to
think,
go in there.
maybe Riri. She's a kid. She's not an aerospace engineer, but she is really, really smart. So I don't know what degree she would
my
have.
little rabbit trail kind of theory I found as to who the big cameo for the season was Natalie Portman, because they said it was a Luke Skywalker level appearance.
I know in Paul Bettany's interview that he said there's an actor he's wanted to work with for a long time, and he alluded it to it being a guy.
Okay,
But I'm not. I'm not sure.
the tie that this theory was saying is that it was a Luke Skywalker level appearance, and we knew it wasn't going to be like the main movie characters because they've shown up in other Marvel stuff,
Right.
and done cameos all the time, but Natalie Portman being Luke's mother
Yeah.
and being kind of tied to the Star Wars stuff also is what made it the Luke level appearance of being unexpected. So her showing up, and we also know she's friends with Darcy.
Yeah.
And I mean, Hank McCoy doesn't really fall into aerospace engineer. He's a scientist, but it's pretty vague as to what like form of science he is. He's a medical doctor at some points in the X-Men books. He's an engineer and some he's kind of that catch-all scientist.
Yeah. But I would think more lab kind of science than
Actually designing and building stuff. But then again, who built the Blackbird?
Yeah. He did.
I guess he would have had to.
The United States Air Force.
He was still
built it.
Right.
he was still the creator and inventor as well.
Yeah, so building the danger room and stuff like that. So, there's a lot of paths. It very well could be Reed Richards, and this is just the big.
And I know Darren, I know he said like he just doesn't see him doing that, but I'm like, no, they want these TV shows to hold so much weight.
Yeah,
and if they don't hold weight, then people are gonna like, well, I don't need to watch it.
Or it's Victor Von Doom. That'd be cool.
I mean, that would be somewhere in that era, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I'd heard that the next big thing of
and if it is Michael Fassbender and he is playing Doom, because a lot of people thought it would be Fassbender.
Yeah.
And there's been stuff saying he's gonna be Doom, so
Yeah,
that could be possible. He may be not Magneto and he's Doom.
Well, and I'd seen stuff that the next phase of the MCU is going to get really heavy into the quantum verse, which I mean that goes right into the Fantastic Four also.
Yeah.
Theirs was always the negative zone.
Yeah.
That was the Fantastic Four's big, which
With the quantum verse is going to be Ant-Man, Wasp. Of course, that's the big thing
Kang
for them.
and everything. Yeah. I don't know. Or Watch is just some nobody, and that's not the actual big person. It's something else.
I don't know. Like I said, I really think if they really wanted to hold weight,
Yeah.
Just kind of like what you saw with Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian. That now that holds weight. People want to go see that.
Yeah.
It matters to the overall storyline now.
Yeah.
So I think that if they really wanted to hold weight, they're gonna have to do something big.
So was it this episode? So I wasn't here last week, so forgive me. This may have been the episode before when Darcy talked about Monica going back through that she would.
I think that was
that this last episode that it's rewriting her genes.
They know something's different.
So this could be her photon
She may be getting powers.
evolution, right? This is how she becomes photon.
Now, did you notice that her mother's nickname was Photon on the
Oh, yeah.
picture? Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't know if everybody caught that. But
Yeah,
I thought
it
that
was on her.
interesting.
It was on her jet in
Her little
Captain Marvel.
placard. Yeah.
I mean, it was in Captain Marvel movie.
Oh, okay.
The photon name was on there too.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah. So, which I mean, you never. Monica was always the big character.
Yeah.
In the 70s, when she became Captain Marvel and stuff like that, she was Captain Marvel first, and then actually became Photon later.
Yeah.
So, there you go. But then again, Ms. Marvel was never Captain Marvel until 2000.
But it makes you wonder, like, would that be happening to other people as well?
People getting powers by going into there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it could.
Because if it's just her, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Does somehow Darcy come out of this with powers?
Right. Or Agatha or
Yeah.
Agnes or whatever.
Well, and I mean, in the comics, Scarlet Witch takes all the mutants' powers away. So why not use her as a way to bring mutants into the MCU?
No.
Yeah, a non-Phoenix Force way because nobody wants to touch the Phoenix right now in a movie because
Eventually
it's
they
failed
will
twice.
again, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's got to be. It's got to make sense.
Yeah. To date, though, a couple of things that are still kind of overhanging. The fact that of all the characters you see, Herb and Agnes are the only two that have ever broken character and been like, hey, do you want me to redo that? Like, they seem overly aware without Vision's intervention.
Yeah.
Like, Vision, turned that one dude off,
No,
coworker guy.
Wasn't there somebody else this last episode that did that?
So there's an obscure.
That was Herb did. Herb was like, do you need
Was
me
he
to...
the security guy this
Yeah.
time? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was also the same guy that was, sawing
through.
into the brick and
Yeah.
stuff. And him and Agnes were talking. So those two have
Something
seemed
going on.
like, and it could be they've just been in the town longer, so they're attuning to it more. But they're the only two, other than
When she broke the glass.
Dottie did break,
Yeah. But she was right back in.
but she was right back in, and we haven't seen her since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was only in that episode.
Yeah, which I have seen a screenshot that you do see her in this coming episode.
Yeah.
So, So I wonder if maybe they are powered people, because we still don't know who FBI guy's missing person is.
Well, I went back and I was watching the first thing, and when he talks to her, he says, "This isn't a missing person case. This is a missing city case."
Right.
So,
But he talked about he lost contact with somebody.
Yeah.
That's what started it.
Yeah.
And that's what got him investigating it. And Agnes was the only person, when they were slapping everybody's pictures up, Agnes was the only person that they didn't have.
or Dottie.
Or Dottie, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Dottie up there either.
So the fact that she's Agatha Harkness, I have no doubt. She has
gotta be something.
She has the brooch,
Yeah.
just like Agatha does. So now whether or not she's powered or not, and she, they just wrote a character that's similar to her just to tie it all in. Yeah, pretty crazy. We'll know more when we watch episode
Today,
7
when this airs.
today. Yes. Man, it was a great episode. All those
hope
things
so.
happened.
There's a little
Huge
preview
reveals.
out, little teaser today.
Yeah.
So
The
they
modern,
didn't really give you a whole lot of stuff, but
very modern family style.
look like she's going to try not to bother anybody. I wonder how that's going to influence what's going on with the boundary.
Exactly. No, she's gonna pass out, and all the conspirators are gonna try to rebel.
out.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then poor Billy. My head really hurts. I'm hearing voices. Just rest.
Resting
fine.
her eyes.
You'll
Get
be
out.
You'll be fine. Yeah. You're having a Jean Grey psychic breakdown. You'll be fine. Just go to bed.
Get out.
Yeah. So. So staying in comic world.
Big announcement.
Big
from
announcement.
Senior Todd McFarlane today.
So this just came out today as we're talking.
Yeah, so
not
Friday would be this Thursday announcement. Huge thing from Todd McFarlane. And I think this has been in the works for a while, but it's really cool to finally see it happening. So
Yeah, he's never really had multiple ongoings at one time.
he's never done any kind of a reboot.
Yeah.
It's always been because
now, from what I understand, the main ongoing's not rebooting.
correct.
This is just spinning off of it.
Yeah. The main ongoing still going to keep going. The biggest reasons he's never wanted to do a reboot is because all of the people that read his book, he doesn't want them to have to feel like they have to restart too.
Yeah.
So he's been going since '92, I think, with Spawn '92, and and it's going to keep on trucking away. He's been introducing a lot of these new characters in the last 2 years.
Because what he's at 315?
315
Yes.
is about to be on the racks here soon.
That's crazy.
So,
Yeah.
30 years of Spawn, and he's just now doing a Spawn universe.
And he's done many series for other things like Dark Ages.
Yeah.
And
He did like a medieval Spawn.
Yeah.
Not that long ago.
Yeah.
And he did he's done some crossovers like Spawn Witchblade.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Just different things like that, but
Spawn,
nothing
there was a Spawn Batman crossover.
continually ongoing.
Yeah.
And so he wants this to be one book a week.
There's gonna be a Spawn book every week.
Which, I mean, so what else is Image right now?
Skybound is the big, that was Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So of course Walking Dead is over, but they are doing complete reprints in full color now.
Okay.
So I think they're up to issue 10 is on this week's FOC.
Right.
So it's been it hasn't been crazy ordered, but it is interesting to see them finally going back and coloring it. And the only reason they didn't do it the first place is because they didn't have a lot of money, and then it kind of stuck.
Yeah.
So they just did the whole series in black and white. And now they're going to do, I'm guessing the plan is to do the full 198 in black and white. I mean, in color. We'll see if they get there.
Interesting.
So they seem to be coming out pretty quick.
So, yeah, next to Walking Dead, Spawn's been the next.
Spawn has been the ongoing biggest thing.
Savage Dragon's still going.
Savage Dragon's at 250 something. And he's actually about to start a new team. New Canada team with Savage Dragon. It'll be a one shot with that, I think.
But that's Image's whole model is they get these creators to do their story, and then once it's over, it's over. They don't
There's
invest
not
in a bunch of ongoings.
Monstress, and really that's up to the creator, if they feel like it's, because they're paying for it.
Well,
Image is just the publisher.
Right.
Right. So the creator still has to pitch the idea to Image, and then Image decides whether they're going to take them on as an ongoing or 5 issues.
It's
or
more
whatever.
like a traditional book publisher.
Yeah.
And
in that
really,
respect.
that's still really up to the creator. Image, if they like you, they're going to let you keep doing whatever.
Yeah.
If the creator doesn't think it's worth money to keep going, then they'll, that's why a lot of them plan on only doing a miniseries. And a lot of that because they're like, oh, I'm also with Marvel, so I only have this much time
Right.
to devote to this. And then I can come back in 2 years and do another volume 2 or whatever.
Yeah, it's more akin to like a novelist making a book deal with the publisher.
Yeah.
I'm going to write 3 books for you. We'll see where it goes after that, kind of a thing, right?
Whereas Donny Cates doing God Country, and everybody hated the fact that it was only 6 issues. They're like, please do more. And he's like, no, I'm done with it. That's all I got.
The Marvel way of having a bullpen and you're pretty much just retained by Marvel to create characters for them, that was actually that wasn't typical for a writer to create characters for somebody. That they had their creation and then they just found somebody to publish it, right? So Image, that was kind of the mold that they broke back in the 90s when they all jumped away, and they were a part of it more.
Yeah, but I think outside of Spawn, like I said, you've had The Walking Dead, like Monstress has been going, it's got a few volumes now. But really, it's just been the little miniseries that boop, and then it's like you said, Savage Dragon. But I can't really think of anything outside of that that's like hit 100 for Image.
Because Liefeld's not doing anything for him anymore.
No,
all his stuff got sold to DC, and then Jim Lee, of course, is at DC now.
No, I did see that Liefeld's about to be done with Snake Eyes, and then he's actually going over to Archie, and he's doing an old superhero legacy character for Archie, like their Captain America.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's actually about to do that. I saw that announcement today.
Captain Belt Pouch?
I don't know. He's going to have pouches, that's for sure. He did do that book for Image a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It's just a pouchy book. But the Spawn universe, I mean, he's going to have 4 ongoing books.
Yeah, so it's going to start with one shot.
Yep.
And then we're going to get the Spawn ongoing, Gunslinger Spawn, King Spawn, and then the team book's going to be called The Scorched.
Yeah. So, and the reason he called it The Scorched is because everybody's been burned. So that's why they're all scorched. So I said there's going to be a lot of new characters, a lot of new bad guys. He alluded to the fact that, I mean, the creators they have on this, they've got Donny Cates coming in. They've got Campbell doing covers. And he said a lot of the Campbell covers are going to be first appearances.
Yeah.
Capullo, of course, doing inks and pins. They've got David Finch. They've got, I mean, all these different people that have never even worked on Spawn books are coming in. Brett Booth, who, was a big 90s X-Men guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different creators that are going to be on this. It's going to be really, really good.
Yeah.
A lot of different writers, he's not going to be writing all of it. He's just going to be the kind of the creator of, hey, this is where I want to push it.
Is he still inking the main ongoing book? Is that kind of his?
Right now he has been. Kind of when it hit the 290s to currently he is.
Yeah.
He wasn't before then. Jason Alexander was doing a lot of it. Jason
Alexander from Seinfeld?
No, he's got like multiple Sean, Sean Alexander. He's got 3 names.
Yeah.
But he was doing a lot of the interior art.
Okay.
But McFarlane here currently has been doing quite a bit.
Yeah.
Now, he does do his best, I think, to try to be involved in some way, shape, or form on every issue, whether it be just a little bit here and there. But he had actually been writing the last bit here and there and creating these new characters and all these different guys that have been coming out. So the Gunslinger Spawn was by far the biggest one because he kind of hit with nobody realizing what was going on.
Yeah.
So that one kind of got underordered in different areas and things like that. So, but it's been pretty big. Kind of like he says in the little announcement, sales have been, I think he said 200 to 300% higher.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've been ordering a lot of it for a long time, but That's crazy overall that it's gotten that high. I mean, since Matina took over as cover artist, we've been ordering in the hundreds on Spawn
Yeah.
constantly, so
That's
and
awesome.
consistently. So it's been a big image book for sure.
Yeah. Like I said, it's neat to see him finally kind of grow into multiple titles because, like, it didn't really dawn on me until I started watching this that, yeah, he really has just had the one ongoing, and he hasn't done other universes a whole lot. That was it. His thing was Spawn, and he didn't really branch out from that. And
Yeah, and
just kept going.
You know, even with that, the TV show, he's had, you know, the cartoon and then the movie, and I mean, he's had, of course, a lot of chances to probably do more.
He's been in the works for a new movie for a long time.
Yeah, and I know the movie's still working, and that may be something he's, you know, maybe he's going to sign a deal and figure out a TV thing like a lot of these other guys do. And he just needs more content.
Yeah.
So you got to introduce the content to make that work.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean,
Cool.
it's going to be really cool.
And, like I was introduced to him as a toy maker, not a comic maker.
Yeah.
So I mean, he makes
that blows my
throwing
mind.
toys
That like
Making
for
all
me it
these-
was the comic 1st,
Uh-huh.
and then McFarlane toys, and yeah, I had so many freaking
I had a
McFarlane,
lot of
like hockey
McFarlane
players,
toys.
and like the sports ones were. Okay, good. I didn't hit the button. Really. Thought I accidentally hit the button. Yeah, no, so yeah, and you know, you've seen Spawn in other media and stuff. Namely, you've seen him in the Mortal Kombat games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Segue.
Yeah. Saw him in He saw him in that, and then you also saw him in what was that, Ready Player One, which you saw some of the Mortal Kombat people in that as well.
Yes. Was he in Ready Player One?
Yeah.
There was a lot of crap in Ready Player One.
Yeah, he was
so-
one of the Avatar skins, basically somebody could get in Ready Player One.
Yeah, there were so many cameos. So speaking of Mortal Kombat,
The trailer today.
the trailer dropped today.
And the first trailer they dropped, which I thought was interesting, was the red band. Like they
Yeah.
dropped that before they dropped the regular one. I don't even know if the regular one's dropped yet.
I was gonna say I didn't even see a regular one. It was
Yeah.
just Red Band.
And
was
I mean, it's
There's
garbage.
a
Mortal
Russian-
Kombat. Why would don't even bother with a regular? one?
Well,
I
and
think
it-
there's a Russian one too. which I
so
haven't
so
seen
here's
yet.
the thing. So the 95 movie 94 95.
Was it that old?
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah, I was in. So the game came out. I was in middle school. I remember it came out my 6th grade year. So that would have been 92.
Did they make the movie that much faster after the?
It was a couple years after.
Wow.
So
I thought there was a little bit more.
the movie came out after 2 dropped.
Mm-hmm.
But it had started production before 2 dropped. So you only really saw characters from the first movie.
Yeah.
Or from the first game.
Yeah.
And then Annihilation
Kinda
came
brought
out a
some of
couple
the
years
other
later
characters
and
in.
brought some of them in, but Annihilation was crap. The first one,
I'll still watch it.
like, it wasn't bad. I mean, now,
I'll still watch either of them.
if your level of measurement was the Super Mario Brothers movie and the Street Fighter movie, then the bar was pretty low to start with.
Yeah.
That when Mortal Kombat, I mean, the effects were really good. I mean, for the time,
For what it
Gora was
was.
animatronic and was kind of weird, but wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
You know,
A lot
Watching
of
him
times
fall
I'll
off
take
a cliff
weird
is hilarious.
animatronic over bad CG any day.
yeah. Now, probably the most glaring thing was they kind of whitewashed Raiden. Like, instead of being this Japanese god, he is a long white-haired French dude.
And in both movies, they did that.
Yeah. And then they just turn him into a shorter white-haired dude. You know, I don't get the Raiden thing.
I don't think that was very uncommon for like 90s
No.
American-made kung fu movies.
Yeah, but I mean,
Well, and,
they didn't
you
do
know,
that with anybody else. Liu Kang was still
I'm
you know,
not quite
an Asian
sure
actor.
at the time what the actor pool was like either.
That's true.
You know, who did they actually have come in and, you know, present themselves to do the movie, and you know, so
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, but
they
I
thought
mean,
could actually do
especially you never actually saw Raiden fight.
Yeah.
You know, you in
The
at
first
least
one.
in the
Right.
first
The
one,
second
you
one
didn't
he
see him in
does.
the second one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I said, I always enjoyed the 95 one, and of course, then you had going into it, you had the web series, the Rebirth.
And I haven't seen that.
They did that, and it actually spawned to a television series, and it was okay.
Yeah.
They did it well. Actually, sorry. Before that, they had done another television series that actually takes place in Outworld. It was in the late '90s, and it was garbage. It was just not even worth watching. It was kind of like back when like Hercules and Xena and all those were like those kind of serial shows.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of felt like, and it kind of had that tone. And
Yeah.
it was just really weird for Mortal Kombat. So
I
then
know they had the cartoons.
Yeah, they did.
And the
they did-
cartoons weren't bad.
They did some cartoons. So then, like the Rebirth, kind of the pitch web short or whatever, had like a darker but a more grounded feel to it, right? That there really wasn't this big supernatural tournament. They were just these psychotic criminals that were like Baraka had just like maimed himself and turned himself into a monster, right? Stuff like that. With the exception of Scorpion had no eyeballs or no eye color. Anyway, they did that, and that looked promising. You know, I think that started the clamor for, hey,
I
people.
think I remember that like there was like an original trailer for that, and it kind of got everybody hyped up, thinking there was going to be.
Yeah, they ended up doing a web series. It was produced by. Was it going to be Rooster Teeth? No, that was something different. I'd have to go back and look. But anyway, they did that, and it was moderately successful. It was definitely a darker, more grounded take. But you know, the video games kind of had a renaissance with, you know, Mortal Kombat 10 and now 11 or whatever. So they're
bringing in all these other characters and just kind of making it kind of feel like a little bit more open, I guess.
Yeah. You know, of course, at this point, you know, Warner Brothers is really involved now, so they're getting comic series with DC. They're getting a lot of the DC crossovers and stuff like that. So now, you know, they pilot this.
Ever since there was the Mortal Kombat versus DC game, and then after that, the makers of Mortal Kombat did Injustice, and Jim Lee actually designed the Scorpion suit for the Scorpion you could get in Injustice.
And I think you could get the Joker in Mortal Kombat 10 or 11. I can't remember which one.
Yeah,
he was a character in it, and then so pretty cool to see. They're definitely going back to the kind of the roots of Mortal Kombat. It's not a grounded kind of real world. There's the tournament aspect of it. You do see Outworld,
and you know they didn't really ever. I don't think they mentioned tournament so much in this as much as just fighting for the world.
It talked about every culture had. Sonya mentions to this new Cole character that every culture has its version of this tournament.
Okay, yeah.
Has this myth about what this tournament is. So I think it's definitely still grounded in that. You see pretty much all of the Mortal Kombat 1 characters except for Johnny Cage. You don't see. We do have a new character in Cole.
Yeah.
So maybe this writer didn't like Johnny Cage. They just made a new character. I don't know. But you see Sonya, Jax, Sub-Zero, Scorpion. You see Scorpion kind of in two different.
Yeah, kind of before the suit.
Yeah.
And then in the suit.
We don't know if maybe that's a flashback.
You get a glimpse of Katana. Right.
Melina.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just see Melina with the size. Katana had the fans.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Melina actually was kind
the
of
nasty mouth. Yeah, she's all licking that blood off of that. Yeah.
Melina actually is.
We saw Raiden, right? Yeah.
You do see Raiden.
You see Lord Raiden.
You see Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung, and
And
you
Goro.
also see just a glimpse of. Why am I missing his name?
Kano was in it.
Kano.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it was. I think just from the look at it, I mean, the trailer looked amazing. So I mean, I really do hope that
I think the big
it lives up to what this
the
trailer
big
looks like.
scuttlebutt and everybody's kind of complaining about is when you hear Hanzo Hazashi say "get over here," but he says it in his very like thick Japanese accent, so it's just kind of like really
think it's
weird
fine,
sounding.
right? I think it's fine because does it really need to sound like the video game? I don't think
Right,
so.
exactly.
I think he just needs to say it the way he needs to say it.
I think it could have been said with more.
I mean, you hear it in the first movies, and they make it sound like identical to the same voice.
Well,
on the video.
that was
game.
always the creator. That was Ed Boon, the creator from the game, and they pulled him into the movie.
Yeah.
With that, but yeah, you did get to see it. You get to see Sub-Zero do some really cool crap,
He was the best part of that.
like
that whole
freezing
trailer,
blood
so.
midair to turn into a knife.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I want to set the record straight here on the internet. The second date with my now wife, we spent the afternoon and played Mortal Kombat together because she was talking mad crap.
Did she get whoop you on there?
Yeah, and I want the entire internet to know that I won.
Which Mortal Kombat?
I think it was 10.
Okay. Oh, one of the 3D ones.
Yeah.
I haven't actually played a Mortal Kombat game in forever.
So growing up, my parents did bowling leagues, and so we would go up to Western Bowl, and that's where I'd pretty much spend my Wednesday nights. And I'd go up to my grandfather, and he would just like give me all the quarters he had. And, you know, I played a ton of games, but I definitely remember. I remember when they finally unloaded Street Fighter 2. They had the Championship Edition.
Yep.
And then, like, within a couple years, Mortal Kombat came out. And, like, it was so cool. This game is so violent.
Yeah.
It's hilariously awesome. They're ripping people's heads out with spinal cords. And, like,
My favorite thing to do is like watch all the fatalities.
yeah. Which anymore now, they're freaking
And
gruesome.
the big that's another one, Street Fighter. You know, I mentioned that. I'd love to see, but I think some of these game shows, I think they've done so much better as TV series than they have as movies because they're just so hard to develop characters. That quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, comic book characters. A lot of more people I think just know about them.
Right.
But again, when you go into just trying to all of a sudden cram 20 people into a movie, somehow give them all a background.
Yeah.
Oh, and some are going to die, some are going to fight. And it's just
it's like
so
with
hard.
the comic book characters, you have generally a hero and a villain that you're developing in a movie.
It's a lot easier to do.
Especially in a movie based off of a fighting game where you're introducing all the characters at once.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they're probably bringing in a brand new character because he's the one that you basically do the exposition on. Mm-hmm. He is the one that's driving the narrative because now you have a character that the other characters can kind of explain stuff to.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're basically explaining it to you.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, but you're traveling with this character learning about what's happening. So we don't have to do this deep dive on Sonya. We already know where she comes from. We already know where Jax comes from and everything. They can just kind of mention those little things to him and why they're there, and you're okay with it, right? Mm-hmm. So I get why they did that. I just don't get why we didn't see Johnny Cage. What the hell? He's my favorite character. So,
well, maybe he'll be like in the second one and die in the first scene, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that was a bunch of crap. Don't even start that. We don't talk about Annihilation. That was the soundtrack was good. I
feel like your reason for hate is because Johnny Cage died within.
It didn't help.
I do feel like this new movie will not be complete without some like 90s techno.
Dude, so
We'll see.
I remember going back to Spawn. There were some movie soundtracks that were like really awesome. First one was Hackers. That was a really great soundtrack. The Spawn soundtrack was amazing. The movie sucked, but the soundtrack was amazing because they did like all these mashups of like a rock or metal band and a techno band. Like everybody was paired off. Awesome. Then we had the Mortal Kombat soundtrack, which was great. Then they did a follow-up, the More Combat, which was like a kind of a sequel to the first soundtrack, but it wasn't for Annihilation. That had its own soundtrack.
Remix.
They weren't remixes. They were more songs, but they weren't in the movie. They were just inspired by the first movie.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I had those in my CD changer all the freaking time.
Yeah.
You know?
You were the cool kid if you had the 5-disc.
Oh, I had 10, buddy.
Oh.
Yeah, you had to open my trunk and pull the cartridge out.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the girlfriend I had in high school, she had one like that.
What
intense.
sucked is, if
you
Ours
wanted
was
to
under the
change, you had to
passenger
stop
seat.
and get out, go back there.
Yeah, there was no quick changing. Once you had the in-dash changers, that's when you were baller. Yeah.
Wow, aging ourselves.
I'm telling you.
Kids are like, "What's a CD player? You have to change it."
So we've got that coming on April 16th to theaters and HBO Max. I kind of want to go see it in the theater.
Yeah,
That one's theater worthy.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think I would brave it to go.
Yeah, there's been a few of the HBO, like the Little Things, the Denzel Washington movie that had him and what's his place is playing Jared Leto. They were both in that Little Things new movie that just came out. And of course, I didn't go to theaters to watch that. I watched it on HBO Max.
Yeah,
and it's okay. It's a nice little serial killer drama, thing. But I don't think I would have gone to theater to watch it in the first place.
Right.
So I mean, it was fine on HBO Max.
which this comes back to like what we've talked about is I really think the theater experience is going to change. Like you're not going to go for every movie now. Mm-hmm. You're going to go for the movies that you want the theater experience
Right.
for.
But
right.
Because I mean, it's going to be different for every person, but every person is going to have that style of movie that is just the theater movie.
Yeah, yeah. And for me, and probably for y'all is the big action blockbuster.
Like Raya that comes out March 5th.
Yeah,
My kids are going to want to go and see that. So we'll go to the theater and watch that. Even though I could do it on Disney Plus. But the thing with Disney Plus is I still got to pay probably $30 to watch it on there. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go to the movie and watch it. We'll
Yeah,
have a better experience.
I definitely
there.
think HBO Max.
Well, and if it's that much to stream a new movie, it's not. It's the same price, or maybe even more than going to the
Yeah.
actual theater.
And the thing with that is that they're like, their argument is, oh, well, now you have it. It's yours.
Yeah.
Okay,
But,
well,
but
this-
HBO Max is doing that, and I'm just paying them. Actually, I'm not paying anything because I get it for free because I'm an AT&T customer.
Yeah.
So
but even still,
like Prime
if you
Video.
purchase a
Yeah.
movie like off of iTunes, you're not paying $30 to download these movies.
Yeah.
yeah. So and I think they had talked about maybe changing the price on it. So I guess we'll see on Raya because that's the first movie since Mulan.
Now I did hear Disney
they've done
Plus is a price hike's coming.
Yeah, I think they said like a couple bucks.
Yeah.
But I think they're starting in the other countries first
But
before
I
they
also
come back
think
to here.
I also heard Netflix is getting another one, which
Yeah.
it's about time.
Which I think it's like $18
Yeah.
already.
Like I can't keep up anymore.
Well, and I think Netflix has the worst content out of all of the streamings. Like I'm borderline ready to drop it.
So I have a friend that what he does, and he has to be very diligent about this. He sits there and rotates them. So he'll subscribe to Netflix one month. He'll go through and just kind of watch whatever he wants to watch that month, and then he'll drop it and he'll up Hulu.
There you
And then
go.
he'll watch that and then he'll drop it and like he'll
change your email every month. You get that free trial.
Hulu is the one that I don't really watch any of their original content.
you watch the
Now, I don't watch much original Hulu content, but I watch a ton of stuff on Hulu.
Yeah.
Yes. Now that's the reason I have.
and
Hulu.
actually I think that one he may actually constantly have that one. It's
that one is just bundled with my Disney Plus, so it's not like it's
Yeah.
that big of a deal because I already have. It's like $12.
Eventually, those are going to be one app anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're already kind of doing that outside of the U.S.
I still
so-
think it's so weird to watch Letterkenny and It's Always Sunny on Disney when they merge.
Yeah,
So-
when was starting off right off the bat having The Simpsons on there was a weird thing.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, and of course I've got YouTube TV on top of that, which I'm paying, $65 a month just for live
See,
channels.
no, but you're also getting basically the red version of YouTube as well, right? Where you don't have to worry about ads. Oh, it doesn't come with that's
As
not
much
included.
as-
That's dumb.
As much as the YouTube TV is, you might as well get cable.
And
Well,
honestly,
some of that stuff, but I think a little bit of that's kind of better in my opinion because you get exactly what you want. You're not getting the wasted channels.
yeah, so
They do a really good job of picking channels on some of that.
what they're doing, and they did announce YouTube TV. They're going to do an add-on soon.
For the red.
No,
How
No.
do you get red in this?
you subscribe to it separately. You get 4K content. You get unlimited screens inside the home, so it's going to look at it's probably going to look at your IP class,
Okay.
and then anything that shares that IP class inside that router zone pretty much gets a free screen because right now you're limited to 3 screens.
That's pretty small compared to other companies.
Yeah.
It's at least 5 on most of them.
Well, so you can have 6 different accounts, but all tied to that one main account.
Like profiles.
Profiles, yeah. And then you basically family share them, but yeah, it's up to 3 screens. Now, yeah, so one home though will get unlimited, and then on top of that, so that's pretty cool. And then you'll be able to download content, which is weird on a set-top box, but you'll have that as well.
Well, download's pretty common for just about everything.
It's getting there now, but for something that's basically you can actually download your DVR content, you have to have a pretty watertight app before
If you're road tripping, I mean, that's good.
the content providers will let you do that. Yeah. So I mean we get it because it had all of our local stations and I don't have to have an antenna or anything like that.
Which some of the other ones do now too, like AT&T. They
Yeah.
do that local stuff as well. So,
Yeah, but
which is DirecTV, if you don't know.
it, or was so yeah, I'm just like I said, if I don't really want to total up all the streaming services that I pay for because I think we're doing Disney Plus Hulu bundle. We have Prime Video, but that's part of Prime.
Yeah.
That's another one that you just have it because you have
That
it for
one
the
totally pays for itself,
Yeah.
in my opinion. If that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't
See,
even
I
count that one.
it. Yeah, right. Because I get the video, I get the music. I use the music more than I use any other music app.
Yeah.
And then the shipping alone for us.
Yeah, that's kind of how I think. I get that for shipping and then the other stuff's just a benefit.
Yeah, and then we have Netflix and then HBO Max, which I don't have as part of my AT&T account.
Which you should. You just need to go get that updated.
No, it's on a different tier.
What tier do you need to?
Of the 5G of the two 5G planes, there's one with it and one without. And I went with the one without.
Well, I've got the one with.
Yeah, on the new 5G plans. Yeah. So, and I think that's it. We're not subscribing to Peacock. I'm not doing CBS All Access, soon to be Paramount Plus.
Yeah, we currently have CBS All Access. That's the only one I'm kind of ever like, but then I watch the Star Trek stuff on there. So
yeah, Peacock is tempting just because of The Office.
But that's the only thing.
That's
I just
really,
like it's not worth it.
That's really the only one that I would pay. I mean, I'd watch Parks and Rec too.
Yeah. But the only other reason we got CBS All Access is because like you can't just watch CBS Live on a lot of stuff. Now I can now because it's on my AT&T.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. And that's like the one channel that an antenna in our area for some reason will not pick up.
It's a hard one here. and to your other question, why not just move to cable? One, I like basically having it wherever I have Wi-Fi. Yeah. I don't have to worry about plugging into a cable drop in the house. So I don't have to worry about wiring it and stuff like that. That's probably the main version. The main kind of advantage is that it's IP based and it can kind of go with me everywhere, whereas cable can't.
Now, I will tell you, it does suck when the power goes out and you have to reach your router to boot back
or when
up every time.
Or when your internet just goes out. You've got nothing.
Which, I mean, we completely stream also. We do Netflix, Hulu, Disney, Prime, and then I'm trying to talk my wife into getting Shudder just because we're both pretty big horror fans.
Yeah, that Shudder's been pretty interesting. That's something I would ever get, but they've got a lot. They've got a pretty good amount of content on there for that.
And a lot of original stuff.
Yeah. I know, like Glenn, the guy that played Glenn, like that was a big thing, is he had a big series go on there right after he died off in The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, horror films are not my forte.
So yeah, lots of neat stuff coming. So next week we'll have We'll talk about episode 7 of WandaVision.
And there's 3 more, including this one. 7, 8, 9. I think it's
7, 8, 9.
I think there's 9 altogether.
Yeah, 9's the last one. So my guess is this is the last one where there's a time jump because I don't know where they go after this. So maybe the last 2 episodes are kind of coming outside of the.
I mean, things are happening. They're going to have to come to some sort of conclusion in 3 episodes.
Well, this last episode, I mean, you saw a lot more of it. You could tell the few little spots where it was what you were seeing on the program.
Yeah.
But then outside of that, Vision's, what he was doing was definitely not part of the program.
Right.
So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of different. It's really starting to kind of get away from the actual TV model. It's kind of just a small snidbit of it now.
Yeah, and then, of course, the whatever that transition to Multiverse of Madness ends up, that handoff being. So that's all we have for this week. Tanner, what do we have coming up on the video content?
So things got kind of off this week because of the snow. But next week, we should be back to business with, we got FOC videos. We'll have more updates on the new building, which, speaking of, we're setting in the new studio right now.
Yeah.
Which we need to think of studio names. So leave your comment on your idea of what we should name our. We got 2 of them, so we need 2 studio
We have
names.
our podcast and gaming studio, and then we'll have our live sales studio.
I think this should be the Danger Room.
I could be down with that. Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll have updates on the video. We got FOC videos, of course, the podcasts on both the gaming channel and the comics channel, and we should also have a couple unboxing videos on the gaming channel.
Nice.
Yeah,
as soon as we get a table built, we'll be doing some Kill Team games.
Yeah, dudes about reverts. Be good.
Cool. Well, Chris, where can they find us?
Yeah, so if you're listening on podcast, thank you, appreciate it. You're find us on podcasts with Apple iTunes. Of course, you can find us on Audible. Of course, Spotify. And then if you want to find us and watch these online, you can find it on YouTube. And then looking for social media, you can follow us on Facebook at Unknown Comic Books, on Instagram at Unknown Comic Books. Of course, also on Twitter. I already said Instagram. Twitter at Unknown_comics. We're on Pinterest. We got like millions of viewers on Pinterest apparently, so that's great. Thank you if you're following us on Pinterest. And then if you would like to find anything as far as exclusive content or anything like that from us, go to unknowncomicbooks.com. You can find all that stuff there.
All right. Well, that does it for episode whatever this was.
It was 9.
It was 9. I believe you. 'Cause I have no way of knowing. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Later.
Later.